And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Founder Q&A. I'm Dan Hodgman from Topstep, sitting down with founder and CVO of Topstep, Michael Patak. How are you?
Good.
Different location.
Different location, yeah.
We're just bouncing around all the time. You're never going to find us in one place anymore. This whole new work from anywhere lifestyle.
Sit 3 feet from each other, not 6. Getting closer to getting out of COVID now that we're 3 feet instead of 6, but we're both vaccinated, so we're okay.
Big stuff. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. Just as a heads up, and I'll mention this a couple of times throughout, we do have a bunch of people from Topstep that will be chiming in the chat. So if you do have certain questions, support related and things like that, they'll be able to answer them. And we'll also be answering questions there. We do have a bunch of questions submitted, and we have some exciting things actually to talk about, which I'm pretty pumped about. I know we've had a lot of these over the last year or so. We've sat down 5 or 6 times over the last year, and there's been one question that's come up a lot, Michael.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Platform.
Sierra charts.
It's back.
So we're not going to answer that question, except say that we have it.
It's here.
It's here. We get that question quite a bit. So that is us listening to feedback, and that's us responding. Sometimes it will take a bit longer, but it's hard to put things at the top of the queue right away. But we do listen to feedback, and we do implement if it makes it to the what's best for the trader and queue.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys, you bring these questions in here, bring these comments, this type of feedback. We take it all in, and we take it seriously. You know, we want to make sure we're providing a program that you guys enjoy. We have the products that you guys like to use. We have tradable products as well. We've got some new ones that CME just released that we're looking at too. We know a lot of people are talking cryptocurrency, so we're looking at that. I want to promise you guys, if you have questions on that, we're working on it. Yep. We're talking about it all the time. I mean, we just sat down and talked about the new one the other day, Ether.
Oh, Ether, yeah, very thin market. So like 130 contracts traded on the very first day. Give it a little time. I wouldn't even trade it with my own money until you get a liquid market. Because again, you're trading it, your stops are going to get hit, your fills are going to get off. It's just be careful with it, whether it's your personal brokerage account, and then Topstep's always going to make sure whatever product we have that we're evaluating or letting people trade is a liquid and well behaving.
We want to trade products that you can actually trade a solid strategy in, right? Like you look at, I think I talked about this on the recap this week, you know, Bitcoin being one of the big exciting new products released. The other day, I think it was Sunday night, it gapped open from Friday. It was down almost $6,000 or $7,000 on a gap. You know, that's not something you want to be jumping in and diving into right away. So just a couple things, we're looking at them, we're talking about them, just so you guys all know.
Point of the first story was Sierra Charts is here.
We also have some other new stuff coming out. Michael, you want to touch on the new offering we have when you get to the funded level that we're working on?
Yeah, we are working on, it's a pilot program right now. It's called an Express Funded Account. It is an exciting route of funding. Same opportunity exists for you, the funding opportunity, getting paid for your trading activity. It is an account that is still in the simulated experience. The account does, your trading activity does inform our prop firm that makes live trading decisions. We still are putting people on live funded accounts, of course, that does not change. This whole opportunity is benefiting both you and our prop firm. How does it benefit you? Your experience doesn't change. You don't have to pay for fees. You can get on an account right away, and you can start earning from your trading activity. How does it benefit Topstep? It's always going to be the fair little trade here. It benefits Topstep because our prop firm is allowed to have total freedom now to manage our risk. That means that if we deem somebody jumping into account and they could put a max position on right before an economic release, we have no control over that. that is something that we manage our risk just like you should manage your risk. So our experience is that we are able to manage our risk better. Our also experience is your trades are able to inform our live trade decisions. That gives us the freedom to, again, manage our risk. And we also will be putting traders on live accounts. So all that being said, your experience does not change, except it gets better.
That's a great way of putting it.
Thanks.
We've touched on futures. We have, want to talk FX a little bit?
Yeah, we are. That's futures. Now the new story is FX. We're focusing on FX as a top priority item. When I say top priority, it's on the high number one, possibly is number one on the priority list of focus to improve and get a really exciting combine, FX combine and evaluation and funding experience there. Kind of I'm going to call it FX 2.0 type of experience. So those Forex currency traders out there, and then we're going to be adding some products to that, but we're not going to announce that until we get there, which makes it exciting because it kind of expands our product suite.
Absolutely. We've gotten a lot of feedback and a lot of questions about improving the FX, and we're taking all that information in. We're making it better and more enjoyable for everyone.
Yep.
So let's dive into some questions. Like I said, please drop questions into the chat. We will get through as many as we possibly can. And as always, if we don't get to them today, you can always join me every day, 3 p.m. Central Time on the Market Recap, or Hogue every morning at 7:45 a.m. Central Time on the Market Forecast. If we don't get them today, please don't hesitate to ask us. We are live as much as possible. So one question we've already gotten in the chat, we did get submitted ahead of time, Michael, micro crude oil.
Micro crude oil. I mentioned FX is top priority. FX is top priority, which means that's going to be our focus. Micro crude oil, we have heard feedback there. We're getting much more feedback that we need to improve the FX experience, and we have a lot of folks there that want to come back in, and we're responding to that feedback first. But we are going to get to that feedback and get that implemented. But it is a priority thing. You can't if you're trying to do everything, you get nothing done. And we're going to go narrow and deep on our focus. First focus is FX.
Absolutely.
Launching a better product and a better trading experience and a better funding opportunity in the first Q1 of next year.
Absolutely. And you can still trade micro crude oil in the regular trading combine. It's not in the micros right now. Micros, like Michael said, that's something we're working on. And one of the common questions we had as we touch on micros here is why aren't the 10 micros equivalent to one standard lot in the trading combine?
We have a technical limitation when we do that. And let's be honest, you can't do all things to all things. So there's a technical limitation on how we evaluate, how we pull data to understand if they're meeting criteria or not. And this is our technical limitation. We understand that. I get the feedback. But they are there to trade. And you do have the mini experience. And commingling is kind of throws things off. Like if I get long one big and then I have micros on, it is a little bit, I get it. I get as far as managing risk because you're going to downside. I get that. But if you're going to go micros, go all micros. If you're going to go bigs, stay all bigs. But if you want to stay in a position.
There used to be a strategy guys would do when they had the big S&Ps and the minis, and they're moving from one pit to the other.
It's called fungible.
Yeah.
Yeah, where minis could, the bigs and the minis, if you have a 50 micros on and a 5 big on, that's the same.
It was. And so we got to start to figure that stuff out from a trading aspect too, not just from a technical standpoint, a Topstep, but just from a trading aspect, trying to figure some of those things out. So let's dive into some of the questions we got here. We do have some coming in the live stream in the chat, so we'll make sure we tackle those too, but I want to make sure we touch on a lot that we got submitted here. And one of the ones that we actually had a numerous number on, Michael, was what are the chances of a one-step combine?
Chances of a one-step combine are something that we're looking at, so that's what we're looking at as well, and we're trying to understand what that experience is. But if you think about it, you do at step 2, you cannot stay at step 2 as long as you stay active in step 2. Why do we do that? And you're always one step away, whether you break a rule or not, you're always one step away. Why do we do that? Because we want you to stay active, because when you stay active, you stay in tune. When you stay in tune, you have a better understanding of the market movement and your own behaviors. And then you can hone your strategy given that market state at that moment in time, which is important in general for evaluation and your own personal trading journey or growth.
Yeah, and I think one thing I'd like to add to this too, just from a professional trading standpoint, as you go through prop firms and as you build out as a trader, you want to start with a little bit more freedom. You want to have availability to try different things, to size up, size down, take some risk, and experience it. As you start working your way towards that live account or the bigger brokerage account or working, building up in the prop firm, you want to start to tighten things down to create new controls. And that, I think, is one of the nice parts about the multiple steps is, hey, you're continuously proving you know how to make money, and you're adding just little layers in there. Let's manage the risk a little bit. Let's learn to tighten things up here. Let's learn when I can actually size up versus when I should size up and things of that nature. So that's one of the things that, for me, outside of just working for Topstep, but being an actual trader, that's one of the things that I looked at before I even came to Topstep that I really liked. We do have a question about the trailing max drawdown. We can touch on that a little bit, but the question was for more of a visual. And so I just want to make sure everyone knows we do have videos here on our YouTube channel that break down all the rules with some nice visuals to make life a little bit easier for you. But if you want to just give a quick run through on how the trailing max drawdown works.
The trailing max drawdown follows your high water mark.
Absolutely, and it's realized P&Ls,
yes.
right? So end of day, where your realized P&L is, then the system's going to update and bring it up there. So let's just say you're in a trade, you go up 1,000, but it comes back on you and you're only up 800 or 500. Trailing max is only going to, if you end that day at that 500, it's only going to come up that 500. It's not going to go to where your unrealized high water mark was.
Yep, exactly. And we have yes, so it's pretty much, I'm not going to go over Danny's explanation because that was good enough.
All right, Michael, some other questions we've gotten. This was from a trader that was funded before, ended up unfortunately losing their funded account. The question was, why does he have to go back to step one?
Well, it sounds like if you're going back to step one, you were unprofitable at the funded level. When you're unprofitable at the funded level, we need to see that you can, again, become profitable, show that you're profitable. That keeps the onus on you to put up the account, to grow the account. If you're going to come out of the gate and it does go negative, it does happen, but you got to prove yourself and you got to prove to Topstep that you can build the account up. There are times where you build the account up and you're positive and you break a rule. That's going back to step two. There's no punishment there or lesson learned. It's basically lesson learned is manage your risk. Don't hit your loss limit. Don't break a rule. And if you are below your starting balance, there's some more things that you need to get in tune with. And that's just the nature of the business and the nature of trading in general is you got to put up money in the account. You have proven it, but did that prove it? Was it just a fluke or not? And that's for you to decide with yours, but our program is set up that if you're not profitable at the funded level, then you do go back to step one. If you are profitable at the funded level, but you do break a rule, looks like you have risk management that you need to keep honing, and you go back to the risk management step two step.
Our goal is to create and help and incentivize good trading, right? We don't want traders coming in trying to play that markets game of, okay, if I throw on a 5 lot here, maybe I can get a quick runner. We want to see traders that are going to be long-term traders, whether it's with us or they eventually graduate into their own brokerage account and move on. But that's the goal here at Topstep. I know there's a lot of questions about this express funded account. Like Michael mentioned, we're just getting it started. It's just a small little test. We're going to continue to refine it, make sure we're putting together the best product possible. So you'll continue to hear more about it, but we just want to let you guys know it is out there if you start to hear about it. Okay, so this is an interesting question, Michael. I think a lot of traders get into trading and they want to watch and do what other traders are doing. This question is, have you ever thought about doing maybe shadow trading or copying trades for beginners?
Copying trades for the beginners. I don't know how, and I'm going to say this honestly, I don't know how you learn sitting there just copying somebody else's trades. It's a teach a man to fish business, and that's what's going to keep them fed for the long haul. And unless fisherman's always going to feed you, but they're not always going to be there for you. So it's a personal journey in trading. You got to figure it out your own. Is it good to watch somebody trade? Yeah, we've heard that. It's always fun to understand how they're trading, but you got to have your own strategy and you got to have your own experience trading that strategy for it to work. If not, there's a copy trade stuff out there, but how are you learning? If that's the case, just get a financial money manager and have them manage your account instead of copying somebody else's trades. So there's some cons to copying people's trades. in general, because when they go on everybody goes on a cold streak or a hot streak. It just happens. Why don't you go on your own trading activity streak and then work on that streak, or I should say strategy.
Yes.
And that's what the Combine's about, is developing your own skills, your own management of your emotions, understanding the market state at that moment in time that I was talking about earlier, and things like that. Getting in tune with the market the best you can. That's how you become a professional for the long haul.
And to add to that too, there are a ton of trade rooms out there. You can kind of go and look into them, and you can watch them. The one thing I have to say to that is, first off, I have no problem if that's the avenue you want to go down, but keep in mind, their job is to make trades. It doesn't have to be perfect every time. They speak the language really well. You know, if I'm working with someone and I'm showing them how I'm trading, there's going to be times where we may sit for a few hours and not see anything, and that's not really that exciting. It's not that, no one wants to sit and watch me sit there twiddle my thumbs, right? So there's that. Also, Michael and I, we have total different appetites for risk when we're trading. We look at things differently. You know, one of us may be willing to take a little bit more risk on a specific trade because the way our style is. So everyone's style is so different, and the emotions that we go through are going to be completely different. You can go out and watch, you know, one of the best baseball players out there, and how he approaches the ball and how he stands and how he leans into the pitch, right? And you can try to emulate that, but your body build might be different.
Muscle memory's not there. Your psyche to handle a loser of that nature. It just like, there's a lot. You got to get immersed in the markets, a safe experience, the trading combine, and then hone on your own abilities rather than relying on the abilities of others.
Right. I play a lot of golf, and I've tried to do the exact same thing Tiger Woods does. I can tell you I don't have as many major wins as he does. I'm working on it, but I'm nowhere near. My handicap is not ready for tour just yet, but I've tried. He's just a lot better at this than I am. Mm-hmm. All right, so.
But it's a good question. I understand it. It just, that's our experience, and that's what we've seen, and that's kind of what we know if you're trying to do this for the long haul on your own accord.
Absolutely. And you know, you can always join in. Again, I've mentioned this and I'll continue to mention it. Forecast every day, 7:45 a.m. Recap every day, 3 p.m. John's kind of framing out that market, showing you areas to look for. At the end of the day, I'm looking back at it and trying to show where some great opportunities were based off of some of the simple levels that we talk about in everything that we do. So join us. Maybe that's another way to look at it, right? And so hopefully that helps you out. Mike, we got a lot of questions coming in about the withdrawal and how the withdrawal policy is working. And can you kind of break it down a little bit?
Yeah, the withdrawal policy basically that we implemented is 5 winning days, not in a row, 5 winning days in a whole between each withdraw request. So other companies out there do have after 30 days, after 14 days, 5 winning days. We're performance-based here, so we're going to focus on have winning days if you're going to pull money out of the market. And why would you be pulling money out of the market if you had all losing days and no winning days? It kind of does, you're already depleting your account. It happens. We go on cold streaks. It happens. You don't go on a cold streak and then take more money out of your account because you get closer to nothing in your account. You need to work with cushions at Topstep or your own personal brokerage account. So after 5 winning days in total, you can take a withdrawal up to 50%. And what that does is that cushion also allows you to carry on. So it is very smart to not deplete your account. You have to have account management, aka money management, to know when to pull from your account and how much to pull from your account. Because again, if you're taking out 90% of your money out of your account, then what is the point of growing that account, because you just made it a little bit harder to trade. You're going to be on your heels. You're going to be a little more tense. You're going to be close to zero on a bounce.
Absolutely. And you think about it, right? We all want to be like the professionals out there. And if a guy's having a rough month or having a down, just a red couple weeks, they're not coming in and going, well, I got to pull money out of the account. No, they're thinking, okay, I got to start cutting back. I got to start to think about, hey, let's focus on high probability. Let's cover my risk a little bit better. Let's look for some small wins to start chopping this thing back up. Because when you start to deplete and then you try to pull money out, there's a huge psychological change. Let's say you got 10 grand in your account, you've brought it down to 7,500, then you pull out 2,500 to say, hey, I want to put some cash in my pocket. all of a sudden you just went from 10 to 5,000, and everything's going to change. It's a huge psychological change.
Yeah, and that is it's common. I mean, it's just about we're trying to help steer folks into when you're performing well, you're eligible, and when you're performing well and you're eligible, that account's growing. So take money out is the encouragement. So we're always going to encourage taking money out. It's called keep it in your pocket. Take it out of your account, put it in your pocket, aka your bank account, and then enjoy the fruits of your trading labor. Is a lot of it. So
absolutely, and it takes time. You know, if you're at this for a year, you might start to see a little bit of return on it, but it takes a couple years. Recognize that you're not going to build up like you would in, you know, you're not going to compare to where you've worked at for 10 years. You got to slowly build into that. All right, so I got an interesting question here, Michael. This is not Topstep related. As a matter of fact, it's a little different, but we're traders and we like to help traders out.
Yep.
We got a question about opening up your own brokerage account. Any tips on that?
Tips on that of opening up your own brokerage account is, the tip is make sure you're comfortable trading in the markets before you open up your own brokerage account. That's the major one. You should be comfortable. And how do you get comfortable? Well, I don't have my brokerage account open. How do I get comfortable? You should be in a simulated experience, or you should be with Topstep in a simulated experience that's accountable, holds you to risk management criteria guiding you. And if you don't have success in a simulated experience, and if you have not shown consistent success at Topstep, my strong opinions as a guy who lost three $30,000 live accounts is do not trade unless you have proven to yourself or some significant other, if you give them, once I do this, then I'm going to put $5,000 into a brokerage account. Now, the next thing is, if you are going to open up a brokerage account, and you have got yourself in a confidence zone, you're going to have to be capitalized enough that you have enough money that you can handle a cold streak. I just opened up my brokerage account. I'm all excited. I put $250 into it. That's a real tight leash that you put on yourself, and it's hard to build that account. They always talk about, and when I say they, experienced traders that have been successful in the business, is to put a healthy amount in the account. So again, I've always said $5,000, $10,000, because again,
and with margins right now being a little different,
that's huge.
It's a little bit more difficult to trade with just 5 or 10.
Yeah, so exactly. So that's even tight, because then you get disabled because you can't cover margins, or you get a margin call. These are all miserable things to happen, because I've had them happen before.
Yeah, you don't want that phone call.
No, you don't want that phone call. So again, first step is get comfortable, confident, and hone a strategy. Neutralize bad habits and leverage your strengths. You got to figure out all that. So you got experience trading. That's why Topstep is a learn by doing type of environment. That's also evaluation while you're learning by doing. So that is why we were created. And then if you don't want to do Topstep, then you need to have some simulated experience.
Absolutely. And one thing I'll add to that, if you're going to go out and do that, the money you're going to put into it, make sure it's not going to affect your life getting rid of it. Because essentially that's what you have to mentally prepare yourself, that you're handing that money away and you're not going to get it back.
Don't look at that. Some people are like, well, that's education. I spent $90,000 on my education. That's more expensive than my college education. And I can do a lot more than my college education.
You're aging yourself there.
After I spent the $90,000. I know. Oh, yeah, I know. I mean, in modern days, probably a little under. But you do not have to pay that expensive of a tuition to learn how to trade. That's another benefit of Topstep.
All right, Michael, I love this next question because I love this idea. Can we get manual risk management in the combine, i.e. user being able to set daily loss limits and max contract size?
Can we get manual? So you set your own?
So they can set their own on their own end.
We don't have that right now because we have Topstep's loss limit that's already in there. You can set your own personal and then liquidate it on your own personal. That's called discipline, having the discipline to liquidate yourself ahead of Topstep's loss limit. Topstep's loss limit should be your it shouldn't even be like something that we want to hit. It's definitely something that we're like, don't go further than this. And then the decision between, if it's a $1,000 loss limit, the decision between wherever your balance is all the way to the $999, that's your decision. After the $1,000 breaking the loss limit, we liquidate. And that's our way of saying you got to stop. So you got to stop for your own trading plan. And again, teach a person to fish. you should have your own personal one that you hold yourself accountable to, so that if you break that one, it's not as painful as breaking a Topstep one. And that's kind of the other goal here, is have your own personal loss limit when you trade and set it there.
Awesome, thank you. Next one, I like this. What is the biggest reason people can't pass step 1 and or step 2?
A lack of discipline. I mean, that's the
I
biggest
think it's
thing.
as simple as that.
It's a simple, again, if we automated everything, then where are you building your discipline? That's kind of, I mean, like, I had to learn because of, like, you have to stop. It's no different than sitting at a blackjack table or anything in your life. How do you pull yourself back? You have a buddy that pulls you by a shirt and says, let's go. I got the car warmed up. Let's get out of here. And sorry about that. And you want to be able to do that to yourself. Have a trading buddy that pulls you out. There's your auto liquidation. Have a trading buddy that says, hey, how you doing? Well, I'm down $900. I thought, hey, Tom, I thought you said your loss limit's $800. Well, it is. Okay, go take a break. Danny, go take a break. I would say that to Danny, or I'd say call it a day.
We've done it on the phone to each other before.
And I've done it. I've had other. When I was a pit trader and I was trading on a screen in front of me on a tablet in here, I would raise my hand. There would be times where I would, 80 bid, or I would bid up the market, and you could tell in the frustration that I was down money, and the guy next to me would hit me in my ribs and say, "What are you doing?" And I go, "Trading." He's like, "You're way off today. Today's not your day. Take a break or get the hell out of here." And it was painful when he hit me in the ribs, but it was very eye-opening, and he was trying to help me. It's tough love in this business, but it's all lessons learned. So have your own loss limit.
Absolutely. You gotta know where the balance is. All right, next question we got here. What's a good daily target? I trade NQ mostly and struggle mightily with when to stop trading. Should I have a daily monetary target, number of trades, number of losers? Some insight here. Michael, what are your thoughts on stopping?
I know I had 3 losers in a row. I called it take 15. 3 losers in a row, took a 15-minute break, walk, make a sandwich, or do whatever, go grab a coffee. That was 3 losers in a row. I also had a personal daily loss limit of $500 when I first started on my own. And that was a big loss limit that said, hey, you're done for the day. But in general, I don't know what your average is, or your average profitable trades X or whatever. So I call it base hits. I call it base hits win ball games. I would look for high probability trades, and that's how I would know when to stop or know when to call it a day. Is if it was my best day, like if it was like if I have a $500 daily loss limit and I was up past $500, I'm like, I'm doing pretty good today. I need to keep this 500. If I see opportunity still in the market, again, this is your decision. You're fishing on your own right now. It's your decision to make. And should I keep trading? You want to have in your head, I want to retain or I want to maintain the balance of my profitable day above this amount, or I'm calling it a day. That's, again, it's going to be discipline you choose. And last point is, I don't care if you have an automation or not. You're the one still turning on the automation or not. So automating everything and things like that, you gotta control your own discipline, and that is all discipline.
There's always a discretion in this industry, no matter what avenue or how the execution's created, you still have discretion. And I think even just to add to that too, it takes time, right? One person can have one different target, quote unquote, for the day. I don't think you ever want to cap a good day. If you're having a nice run, lean into it. Like, I'm the last person to sit here and tell you, hey, you're up 1,000, shut it off. No. Lean into it, but don't give up 50% of that. To kind of create a baseline of where that point is, okay, I can't give back more than half of this. That's going to take data from your past trading and understanding of your style. If you're a $200 a day trader and that's consistent for you, then you don't want to give back. If you're up 200, you don't want to turn minus 200. Yep. But if you're a different style trader and you're looking $700, $800, $1,000 a day is more your style, then it's different. And that $200 daily target that someone else has is not going to work for you, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So it really is, again, this is such a personal experience when it comes to trading.
But for me, I like if I have a $500 loss limit, I would like a I would like a $300 to $500 to $600 thedaily average that I can put up. Then you times that out, and like, how much am I making a year? If it's $200 a day, that's $1,000 a week. There's $50 grand a year, and you can do your own math there. So it's finding out, again, where you want to be and make sure your expectations are realistic, and then backing into that. And then that's backing into that in a way that you can control your discipline so you're able to keep a good average without a bad day where you just let yourself go, kill your average. So again, there's a play here. You got to look at your trade reports, as Danny said. Look at the history of you as an individual and you as a trader, and that's the person you need to improve.
Awesome. So we got a few more questions we're going to get into, and then we got to get going. The first one, Michael, when it comes to risk-reward ratio, how do you look at that? What do you think about in that? And then do you have any ideas for assisting or adjusting strategy to get better risk-reward?
You got to have greater reward than risk. It's a no-brainer in anything you do in life, whether you're going to start a company or take a decision to cross the road or whatever. so 2 to 1 is what we always talk about here as being something you do not have to be right more than 50% of the time. You can be right more than 40% of the time and you're profitable. So think about that. I have never seen anybody be sustainably right 90% of the time or 100%. So there's a little sweet spot. Find out how your win accuracy is, your winning trade accuracy and things like that. That's going to help you understand your risk to reward. If it's 2 to 1, you got to be right more than 40% of the time. Right means profitable more than 40% of the time. Given that you're 2 to 1, you're trying to make $200 by risking without risking more than $100. Or if it's 1 to 1, then you got to be right 51% of the time to be profitable. Not very profitable, but you're at least profitable. So then the 3 to 1 and all that different. There's pie charts out there or charts out there on that kind of get into that. Risk reward is so important. 2 to 1, and then having a winning trade accuracy number that you know. Those are the 3 most important things: is risk reward, where you want to be, and then where your win rate needs to be profitable.
Huge data point. This is a data-based industry. You have to understand who you are as a trader. You got to understand your data and what works for you, right? Like, it comes down to it. I said this actually the other day on the recap, which I would say go watch one of the recaps here this week. I actually talked a lot about looking towards extremes and how to manage your risk. And I actually keep that risk relatively tight to take trades. And I show a couple different ways to look at it. So check out some of the recaps this week. I break it down. But one of the things that we did was I explained to everyone, I'm not a trader that looks for breakouts. That's not my style. A trade sets up, beautiful setup for a breakout trade. It starts to show a little acceptance outside of a channel that I'm looking at. I like to define channels. It starts to show acceptance outside of it, pulls right back to the high side of the channel. And we looked at it and we go, if you're a breakout trader, great frickin' trade, execute and run. I'm not. I didn't like it. I wasn't comfortable there. I know people that did take the trade. I sat on my hands. They got paid. I saw it, but it didn't work for me. See, there's a huge difference for all of us, but you can always look at some things a little bit similarly to try and get some ideas to help that risk reward.
Yep.
All right, this is an interesting question, Michael. With the funded accounts, as you continue to grow your account, are you able to work with the funding team to maybe make some adjustments to your risk parameters?
Absolutely, for sure. Yes, and that's something that because we work with traders that show responsibility and have grown their account and things of that nature. Do you need more buying power? Do you need greater loss limits? We work with that. That's exactly what we're looking to do. It's not just an out-of-the-box program. It's a relationship at that point that we do want to work with you. If you want to work with us, some folks just say, give me the account. I'm going to stay within the rules and continue trading how I'm doing. I like where I'm at. I like the loss limit. I like the buying power. I like the products I'm trading. Others do ask and they do make requests, and we do make adjustments.
Absolutely. There's always opportunity. We love to work with traders. If you're showing success, we want to lean into that too. It's just like a good trade, right? You're on a good run. Hey, we see a good trader. We want you to continue to trade well, and we want you to be happy. All right, last 2 questions. Michael, I like this one. I can pass the combine and pro multiple times, but I cannot be consistent in funded account, that live account. What's your advice?
Don't trade in your personal brokerage account first. It's really not that much difference, and it's your own capital, so be careful there. And second off is Danny said, look at your history. What are you doing? After your 3rd trade is your 4th, or after your 3rd loser is your 4th loser, a monster like implosion, because you're on tilt. Take 15, take that idea, take 15, go take a break, re-look at it. Doesn't mean you have to come back and trade, but you can come back, look at it with fresh eyes, clear mind, and say, yeah, today's not the day, and the window of opportunity for the day has closed. So it's all kind of looking at your past, to understand how you can improve in the future, because we are traders, which means we're growth-minded or open-minded to learning every little thing we do, both good and poor performing activities. I mean, that's a lot. Obviously, those are the primary ones out of the gate.
And I would just say there's a huge difference from trading sim to live, or not huge, but there is a difference as you get your fills and execution and order rate there, right? You fall into a queue. When you get in there, get comfortable with the fills. Enter at the market. Use that buy at market or sell at market. It's going to ensure you're getting the fills. If you're going to have to sacrifice maybe 2 or 3 ticks sometimes, hey, it's worth it to make sure you're in the trade and you're able to take the trade. All right, Michael, last question. What makes Topstep better than other funding opportunities?
We're live. We're talking to you. Other funding opportunities. We pioneered the space. I remember when I started this in 2010, the idea and concept, I'm like, this is how I learned. Why is this not in the space? We pioneered it. Other companies have just copied our parameters or our counts or the model. Where are they? Do they talk? And are they thought leaders? Are they? Do they care? Or is this just a business that they popped up because they can, copy? And that is a big difference. But the bigger difference is literally we are going to keep improving our program. We're going to keep ensuring that our traders are the center of our work, helping them become better with healthier habits, all by doing a safe experience. And I mean, Danny, why don't you add some? We have a support team, again, just like this, that you could call. Our support team's incredible. And what else do we got?
Well, I can add why I'm actually at Topstep.
Yeah, there you go.
I was at the prop firm before. I was with a team that took a relatively large hit. It was not on my trading, but it was a pretty eye-opening, frightening experience. I was a little timid to trading at that point, and Michael talked about Topstep, and I started looking at it, and it's about developing good traders and developing good habits and maintaining those controls. The last thing you want to do is be somewhere that you're allowed to kind of fly solo. And even if it's not your capital, the people that get affected by the loss of that capital, it's a huge snowball effect. Here at Topstep, our goal is to work with you as traders. I'm talking to traders all the time.
Yep.
I can't tell me people email me, call in, and I get to talk to, and we break down simpleness in their strategies. You've got us live each and every day. We're here answering questions. We're talking to you. And I would like to think we've got a pretty history background as traders too. We've got Michael who's on the floor. I was on the floor. My family's been on the floor for 60 years.
Our performance coaches is all traded. So beyond just that, there's benefits to our program that are in there. We have features that we created that help you monthly automatic reset if that's something that's important to you. Staying at step 2 and having a community, and there's things like that. So the resources we provide, the morning forecast that we provide, the recap that we provide, the weekly kickoffs that we provide, the coaches that are there, the subject matter experts that have traded.
And our kick-ass support team.
And Topstep is a sexier product than others.
Awesome. All right, everybody, if we did not get to your questions today, I do apologize. Like I said, come join us on any of our live streams. We're live like 10 or 11 times a week, something like that. Tune in, ask us questions. John and I usually stay on camera until we get through everything. So please come join us on those. Michael, thanks for sitting down with me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Everybody out there, have a great holiday.
Yeah, we won't see you till probably
after the new year. So happy holidays, and take some time away from the markets. We do say this every year. Take some time away from the markets. Spend time with the family. Look at your past performance. Like Danny said, study up. Beginning of January is always a great time to get back in the markets. All the folks that are trading in the financial industry usually take off a little bit at the end of the year. Yeah, I am telling you to take off some time because it's probably good and healthy for you to step away, to regroup, relearn kind of where you've been, where you want to go, and then set a plan for 2022. Awesome. All right, everybody out there. Don't forget, John will be back tomorrow morning, 7:45 a.m. Central Time with the market forecast. So until then, stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. We look forward to seeing you guys in the